I'm Mercedes, here to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or your computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hey, this is your girl Experience Jay. Just want to take some time out to say thank you to all the listeners and supporters of this podcast. You mean so much, you don't even know. If you're still rocking with us, definitely keep listening. Share this podcast with your friends, your family, your nosy ass coworkers, everybody. Don't forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook and on IG at Past Due Audio Series and on Twitter at Past Due Audio. If you'd like to support, you can become a monthly supporter by visiting anchor.fm/experience-j or hit that Cash App, $X She Writes. All right, enough of that. Let's get to the show. What you heard wasn't a mistake. This is one big ball of emotional truth released in the form of prose. Every single word. But when you speak, do you mean it? Are your verbs full of action or merely one-liners that you never intended to speak? Do you proudly part your lips or are your stutters as sure as the lies you'll ultimately tell? Part of me was hella nervous. I mean, I always joked about how crazy Danny was, but I never thought it would ever come to this. Was he actually stalking me? Like standing outside in the bushes, dressed in camouflage, sniffing my panties kind of shit? I thought shit like that only happened in the movies. But my pride wouldn't let me fear this nigga. I wanted him to know that he didn't have control of this situation, or me. We fucked. That's it. He needed to move on with his life, and so did I.
Stop playing with you, Keena. You just can't play with a nigga feelings and think that you're gonna get away with it.
I don't know who the fuck you think you talking to, but you got me all the way fucked up if you think you gonna drag me the fuck up out of anywhere.
I was just playing, girl. I don't even know where you are. I just heard the noise in the background and assumed you was at the bar. You know I never do anything to hurt you. I was just trying to get your attention.
Get the fuck off my phone.
Keena, hold on. Baby, hold on. Wait.
So, I'm officially blocking this motherfucker. He really tried it this time.
Girl, I didn't know what was happening. I thought we were about to have to find an escape route.
He crazy, but the nigga ain't crazy. It would have been a fight to the fucking death, believe me.
What is going on with you and these men, girl?
Why did I always come across these crazy, needy, off-balance ass men? I mean, I prided myself in having good taste. I liked them tall, dark, and fine as hell, although I made the occasional exception if the finest outweighed everything else. He had to be cultured, well-spoken, and hard-working. Was that too much to ask? But it never failed. I always ran into these men who seemed like they had it together. But as I got to know them, everything slowly unraveled before my eyes. I could deal with a dude in the struggle. I knew what it felt like to be there. I lived it. But he couldn't be complacent with staying there. He had to be actively working toward a goal, and he definitely couldn't be a damn fraud. There was nothing I hated more than someone who was pretending to be something they weren't. But alas, that's usually what I ended up with. Maybe this was a generational curse. I mean, I've seen my mother and a few of my bougie-ass aunties go through some crazy-ass relationships, and because of that, I vowed that I would never allow that shit to happen to me. Out of my 6 aunties, only 2 of them were married, and none of my cousins were married. I thought that I would be the one to break the cycle. Not that I'm out of time, but like I've said over and over, I just thought I would have had this shit figured out by now. And maybe I finally had. You know that right swipe cutie I was telling y'all about? Well, his name is Josiah Parks, or Joe as he preferred to be called. Joe was a 38-year-old accountant turned entrepreneur. He had an MBA and was days shy of opening his very own tax preparation business. We had slowly begun to get to know each other. With everything going on with Lamar and not exactly knowing how I felt about Corey, I definitely wasn't about to rush into anything with Joe. Joe was mad cool. He loved going out, he could cook, and his music taste was very eclectic. That turned me on. I'll admit, when I first met up with Joe, I was a little intimidated. I mean, he had his shit together, and I was the one feeling a bit inadequate. He had all these degrees and a job that he loved, and here I was, a college dropout turned published author living with her mother. How could I compete with all the women who came his way? Not that I was trying to, but you know how it is. I'm sure he came across beautiful women with PhDs and family homes all the time. What did he want from little old me?
Your smile, it's breathtaking. Anybody ever told you that?
I've heard it once or twice.
You should be hearing it every day.
You're sweet.
I'm serious, though. A woman like you should wake up to a man like me singing her praises.
Joe was laying it on pretty thick, but I had to admit, he was smooth. We were at a nice French restaurant, sipping on expensive-ass wine and having a great-ass time. He deliberately looked at me when he talked, and he was very attentive whenever I spoke. I had his undivided attention, and I love how that felt. Is that so?
Yes, it is. But I'm a patient man. I know you're not ready for anything like that just yet. I take it you're still trying to figure things out.
Who are you, Dr. Phil?
Not at all. I'm just making an observation. But like I said, I'm a patient man. I just want to show you how things could be. Let me be clear, Keena.
Okay.
I'm dating with only one goal in mind, to find someone I can build with. I'm looking for my future wife.
I'll definitely keep that in mind.
And then Joe asked me something that kind of had me stumped. He asked me what I was seeking. And for the first time in a long time, I really had to think about it. 'Cause hell, I didn't know.
Seeking? Honestly, I'm just trying to get my life in order before I try to include anyone else into the mix.
That's respectable. But what if in the process you met someone who wasn't concerned with all the hoopla? Someone who just wanted to genuinely get to know you with no set expectations besides getting to know you.
Does such person exist? I mean, you just said you're looking for a wife. That's a pretty big expectation.
What was Joe getting at? Was he trying to say he could be my saving grace? 'Cause I didn't need a Captain Saver. I just needed someone real.
I'm just being open about what I'm looking for so that I don't waste anybody's time. That doesn't mean that every woman I meet is placed in the future wife box. I do, however, date with the thought process in mind. If I'm dating you, it's because I definitely see the potential there. But that doesn't mean I'm holding you hostage to it. I'm a go-with-the-flow kind of guy. What will be, will be.
That makes sense. I'm definitely the go-with-the-flow type as well, so we'll see.
I felt the vibration from my phone, but I ignored it. Whoever was calling really didn't matter at that time. I wasn't sure what would happen between Joe and I, but I knew that I was willing to find out. Slowly.
I found myself a little enamored by Joe. I couldn't help randomly thinking about him, and I even checked my phone on occasion just to make sure I hadn't missed a call or text from him. I tried to play it cool. I definitely didn't want to get caught up in anyone's rapture. Without warning, he left a cute little text that made my day.
Thinking about that beautiful smile. I can't wait to see it again. Have a great day. Che.
I still made time to see Corey. On this night in particular, I was at Corey's house, to give me a little quick fix. I look up from my phone and notice him staring at me with a suspicious look.
Who got you smiling from ear to ear?
Nobody. I saw something funny on the book.
He just looked at me for a second, like I was lying or something. And okay, yeah, I was lying, but who the fuck? Who did he think he was? He wasn't my man. And then he had the nerve to ask me for my phone. My phone?
Who phone?
Your phone.
Yeah, wait for it.
Look, what are we doing here? You're laid up in my bed, and you sitting here texting another dude, and I just supposed to be okay with that?
First off, I never said I was texting a dude. But even if I was, that has nothing to do with you. We both know all about the chicks that you deal with. So let's cut it out, okay?
Keyword used to. I'm only dealing with you now. I mean, I thought that's what we were doing.
But how, Sway?
This ain't no joke to me, okay? I mean, what did you think we were doing the whole time?
I thought we were fucking, but maybe I missed something?
I mean, listen, you've been spending most of your time over here lately. I mean, we've been hanging tight, going out on dates. I mean, just doing regular couple shit. I assume you wanted more. Am I wrong?
I honestly don't know what I want right now.
So you mean to tell me you think I'm just gonna sit around here and wait for you to figure shit out? I don't think so.
Please don't make this shit complicated, yo.
Listen, baby. I mean, real talk. I want us to be together. I want this to work. But I'm not about to do this with you. I look good.
Shit, I look good too.
I mean, I'm saying, listen, we don't have to do this, okay? I mean, I can cut this shit out right now.
Corey, stop it. Why can't it just be what it is?
Do you want to be with me? Yes or no?
Was this nigga giving me an ultimatum? Like a real one? He was dead serious. The way he looked at me said that I better make the right choice or it was a wrap. But I didn't know what that choice was. And even if I said yes, we couldn't be open about it. We worked together, and there was a strict, no fraternizing policy there. Yeah, I know. I was a rebel, and the dick was good, but shit, I wasn't about to risk my good-ass government job over this nigga.
Corey.
I said his name one last time, hoping to knock some sense into him. Us being together didn't make sense. Why did he want this so bad, and why now? It just wasn't a good time. Nobody ever gave me time to just figure shit out, and now he wanted me to make a decision on whether we were going to be official? Who the fuck did he think he was?
Listen, yes or no, Keena?
Yes, come here.
I know. That was dumb as hell. I can't believe I told this dude that I would be his girlfriend. It all just happened so fast and I didn't know what to say. I mean, I knew what I needed to say, but in that moment, all I kept thinking was, damn, I'm about to lose the best dick of my life. Not that I was dickmatized, but shit, I didn't even have a backup.
As soon as I said it, I regretted it. Corey was a good person and all, but we just had nothing in common. Except our sex, of course. I knew we'd eventually end up hurting each other. He just wasn't ready for something real, and he knew I wasn't ready either. We would wind up being a thing of convenience, and then by the time we really caught feelings or figured out what the fuck it would be too late. I kind of felt like maybe he was having a midlife crisis of his own, and that's what brought all of this on. Corey was almost 40 and still lived the single bachelor's life. From some of our past discussions, I gathered that he very much wanted a family and wanted to do so in the traditional way. He wanted to be married and then have kids. I respected that, but he was going about this all wrong. You don't just jump into a relationship with somebody because your biological clock is ticking, and you definitely don't jump into a relationship just because you're having amazing, passionate sex. Take away the sex, and what did we have? Not a damn thing. I wasn't sure how we were going to make this work, but telling him that I made a mistake and didn't really want to be with him just wasn't an option. I would look like a fucking asshole, but then again, I was a fucking asshole. I mean, who agrees to be with somebody just so they can keep fucking? Oh yeah, this girl. This was definitely one for the books. On a professional note, things were definitely starting to look up for me. I didn't expect to be on the bestsellers list overnight, but the momentum surrounding Keena Tells All had me hella excited about the future. I had gained over 200 new followers who on any given moment would retweet and share my posts. I felt like a local superstar, but it just wasn't enough. I knew I should be grateful, but I couldn't escape the emptiness that I still felt even in the midst of becoming so well received. I knew that part of me would never feel whole until I finally made it. Like, not this local shit, but something that could help me escape my job and finally get me up out of my mom's crib. That's the type of breakthrough I needed. Not that I wasn't appreciative. I definitely appreciated every supporter who believed in my vision, every retweet, and every single purchase. But I just felt like I was merely scratching the surface. What was next? I went into work with a similar attitude. It wasn't that I had this new book and so I thought I was larger than life, but I was never meant to be there that long. And now that I was finally doing something that I loved and it was working out in my favor, Going to work felt like nothing more than a roadblock keeping me from my destiny. People noticed the change in me. Not everyone mentioned it, but everyone knew that I was done with Tubman Academy. Even my boss, Principal Andre Edwards, could tell something was wrong. He called me in his office. I knew something was up. He never called me to his office, unless, of course, there was yet another big project he wanted me to spearhead.
Miss Matthews, please come in and close the door. I'd like to have a talk with you.
What did he need to talk to me about? I came to work on time, I did my job, and I stayed in my lane. Believe me, I ain't want no problems. I just wanted to be left alone.
Is everything okay with you?
Who, me? I'm fine. Why do you ask?
You just seem different these days. I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay with you.
I'm good.
Is there something you'd like to discuss?
No, not at all.
Okay, Matthews. Let me just be frank with you. You've been here for almost 7 years, and you're a great asset to Tubman Academy. But I feel like you're wasting all of your talents here.
What do you mean?
You've far exceeded that of a teacher's aide. Have you ever thought about actually becoming a real teacher?
No, teaching really isn't my passion.
Matthews, you would make an amazing teacher. I do think it's something you should consider.
Yeah, well, I haven't even completed undergrad yet, and even if I thought about it, it would take me so much time.
Well, what are you waiting for? I've been waiting and wanting to promote you, but without that degree, my hands are tied. So what is it going to take, Matthews?
I couldn't believe what he was saying. Well, actually, I could. He didn't know any better. He didn't know me. I couldn't make him see the vision. Oh, but one day, he would. Principal Edwards was right about one thing. I was wasting my damn talents. But what he didn't understand was, I didn't plan on being there much longer. So there was no need to sign me up for his little 5-year plan, because I was going to be all right.
We don't have much in the budget, but I could assist you with furthering your education if that's something you want to do. But let me know. I'll leave the ball in your court.
I left Principal Edwards' office motivated, more than ever before. If I wasn't convinced in the past, I now knew without a doubt that I had to make moves and get the fuck up out of there. Sure, he had just offered to help pay for school. Sounded harmless enough, unless of course you add in the part where I'd be obligated to do 5 years of teaching within the school system. 5 years? Thanks, but no thanks. He wasn't about to turn me into one of those bitter-ass biddies crying about what could have been. I had done that for way too long. 5 more years holding off on my dreams? Hell no. My time and my dream was no longer for sale. I made my way back to the classroom to gather my things for lunch. My phone had been vibrating off the hook, but I figured it was just Corey texting me all types of nasty shit. Now that I was his girl, I could get the dick on demand, and it was a beautiful thing. It had only been a few weeks, but I can't front. A girl kind of got used to all that intense lovemaking on a frequent basis. I still kept in contact with Joe from time to time, though. I didn't feel bad about it because there was nothing sexual going on, but the more we conversed, the more I regretted my decision to become Corey's girlfriend. Joe was just Joe. He said all the right things, and usually I'd be weary of a man like that, but he just felt different. Dare I say, unconventional. I liked it. I finally took out my phone thinking I'd find a nice little dick pic from Corey, but I was thoroughly surprised when instead I saw a message from Joe. It was a simple rose emoji with the little heart eyes. He had a way of doing something so simplistic, but it meaning absolutely everything. Damn, what was this? I found myself daydreaming about him, even at work. I could hardly focus on anything else. Joe always found his way back to my thoughts. What the hell was going on? My emotions were all over the place all of a sudden, and I didn't know what to do about it.
Damn, Joe.
I was lost in thought about how soft his lips looked when I heard my name over the loudspeaker.
Miss Matthews, please report to the main office. Miss Matthews, please report to the main office.
I wonder what that's about.
I had already dealt with the principal, so I figured it couldn't get any worse than that. I made my way back down to the office, and there were a few people standing around with smiles on their faces. You rang?
Yep.
The receptionist smiled and went to the back of the office. When she returned, she had this beautiful bouquet with long-stemmed roses that were addressed to me. All the nosy folks stood around with their eyes wide trying to figure out who had sent them.
This bouquet of 24 roses just arrived for you, and it has a note. Who's it from, Matthews?
Give me the flowers, Nosy. Mind your business.
I snatched them out of her hand and grabbed the attached note. I immediately thought about his text message. I knew they were from Joe. He left the most amazing little message. I definitely couldn't hide the smile that it put on my face.
Congratulations on all your success. I'm rooting for you. Joe.
Congratulations on all your success. Ooh.
Shut up.
Man, I could smell his scent. I could hear his voice. If only I knew what that touch was like, I'd be complete. He had me utterly captivated. I had never experienced anything like that.
So you're not going to tell us who it's from, Matthews?
No, I'm not.
That's okay. I already read it anyway. Who's Joe, Matthews?
Nosy ass. Ain't that a federal offense or something?
You still ain't answered the question. Who's Joe?
Yeah. Who was Joe?
I snapped back into reality so quick. Corey was standing in front of me waiting on me to come up with an explanation. He played it cool, like he was just another inquiring coworker, but of course, we both knew it was much more than just that. The look on his face was almost indescribable. Embarrassment, hurt, hell, it was probably even some hatred mixed up in there. I could tell he was pissed the fuck off, but there was nothing I could do. I ain't send him.
Corey, it's nothing.
Nah. Don't worry about it. No need to explain. I understand.
He kept it real calm and cordial, but that look said it all. He turned and headed for the door. Before he walked out, he turned back and looked me dead in the eyes.
Oh, just like Joe said, congratulations on all your success.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Past Due was created and executive produced by Experience J. Music and sound design by Experience J, Leo Zaruki, Chaxty, Gustav, Mindless, and Peachy Pavement. Podcast intro produced by Jonathan Gaither. Ad voiceover by Mercedes Lewis of My Promo Voice. Past Due was written by Experience J, starring Experience J, with an ensemble cast played by Natasha Malone, Lamar LaRue, Zay Walker, Hubert Williams, Andy Green, War, and Erica Honey. Musical artists featured on this episode include Spring Gang, King Sis, Sionia, Gimme Mo.
Surrounding myself with wealth, I'm gonna be self-sufficient no more.